Now, Asia has looked on largely with bemusement at Occupy Wall Street protests in recent weekends in the West. Some say such disgruntlement at big finance in Asia is unlikely, but the growing income gap is a reality that policymakers are keen to address. More from Linda Hong.
Protesters railing against big businesses continue, at least they do in the West. In Asia, the Occupy Wall Street movement has had some rumblings in Hong Kong, Tokyo, Taipei, Seoul and Melbourne, but barely a ripple in Singapore.
Demanding for change and accountability and arguing that the wealth of 99% of Singaporeans is in the hands of 1%, unidentified organisers of Occupy Raffles Place had planned to march to SGX Centre after meeting here at this open space outside Raffles Place MRT station last Sunday. But fewer than 20 had turned up and the organisers remain unidentified.
Strengthened financial systems after two crises have butt-rest Singapore and mostly Asia against Western turbulence. And if there's an employment problem in Asia, it's not one of unemployment as it is in the US and Europe.
In Singapore, the issue is about, in terms of finding better jobs, the issue is between companies wanting to expand but they can't get access to labor. Labor cost is high. Those are the kind of issues that are important. Are there issues which will force companies, people to go out to the streets to demand changes? I don't think so.
The major bane for citizens in Asia right now is inflation. And while the outlook has cooled, it may not take much for it to re-emerge.
What if, the European problem settles down and U.S. economy starts to suddenly turn around and all this loosening starts to come back with very high inflation pressures, right? Which, in other words, we haven't really slayed the asset price inflation monster. And we, again, go back and feed it. Income inequality is a function of asset price inflation, a function of inflation, because it hurts the have-nots because of rising prices.
It may not mean Occupy Raffles Place, but the risk of accelerating inflation remains and may yet prove to be the seed of discontent in Asia.